there again, folks. Welcome back to my random gaming series. Today we're playing Ping Ping. Now, I would like to thank the developer Pinky for letting me try out this game for free. It's basically a choose-your-own adventure sort of game. Lots of reading. It's there's not any sort of graphics or anything. It's kind of like the definitely an interactive fiction book. Or game, I should say. Sort of like those text adventures back in the day. You know, where you would, except you don't hit W to go west, or you don't have to type anything. It's all selection of options. So yeah, I used to enjoy that sort of thing. I did play a few of those text adventures. I was able to play some back in my high school days through means. They got me through some through a very boring summer, and I remember reading some choose your own adventure books, like the Goosebumps. Goosebumps had their own series of choose your own adventures, and there's other 2 or 3 books I read at one point. Something about ninjas. Don't remember that much about it. Just that something about ninjas. So yeah, I used to enjoy that sort of thing. I would always cheat and have go down the top of the page, so I could always go back and make other decisions, but so that I could get the full experience. Yeah, this is basically how this game is. So I'm curious to see how it is. It's supposed to deal with some pretty mature stuff, so it's not exactly for. I'm sure it's got stuff that's not typically dealt with as far as video games go. So let's get into it. New game. Okay. Gotcha. Guess I need to click that. I need you, the reader, to imagine us, for we don't really exist if you don't. Okay. I will try. I will try to imagine you. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of reading. I will try to go for about 15-20 minutes. Hopefully my throat won't give out on me, since there will be a lot of reading. The world was disappearing, truly. Into the jaws of shadows it went, street by street in a single gulp, seemingly never being enough for the beast. The void, they called it. At first it had crept upon the world silently, seeping through the cracks in the pavement. Before anyone had a chance to escape, it had swept them up into its ferocious jaws. Was it a hoax? A mere theory? No one knew. Few cared. Until it started swallowing up school buses and old ladies. Wait, are we in a Godzilla movie? That's cool. This is about Godzilla? Man, I love this. The news cared about that. Pouncing on the story. No one could pass by a newspaper or magazine cover without articles screaming about the arrival of science fiction come to life. Why would they not? That's, well, that is news that people need to know. You know, you don't want to just be like, walking down the street seeing a giant monster, being like, dang, I wish I'd known about this. You know, you know, you're not going to be like disappointed that somebody told you about it. You know. Plus, you know, that's money making for the magazines and the newspapers and the television shows and everything. Some blamed it on the actions of the government, some on the supernatural. And others welcomed it, claiming it was the Earth's way of cleansing itself. Okay, Minako didn't know what to believe. Stay away from fairy tales, her father had cried. It had been the constant refrain over the years, ringing in her ears. He was terrified of anything that was a in away from normal. Not sure what that means. Her mother had been like a wisp, a fairy queen who would only last the length of spring. With the coming of winter, she had slipped away as those who fell into the void. She had slipped away as those who fell into... Okay. With the withering of her mother, her father had clung to the sturdiness of summer. Turning his back on delicacy, he embraced things made only from flesh and bone. Yet where was he now? As if stepping from the pages of a fairy tale, it slumbered before her, stretched across the sidewalk, impersonating a rain puddle. Innocent. Friendly. Why do I click to go forward? Oh, there. Oh, oops. I missed the scrolls thing. That would have been a. That would have made a terrible video. I guess that's it. End the video. Missed the scroll bar. She knew better. Catherine gazed over it. Minako pursed her lips. Have you? She paused. It yawned. So there's something that's impersonating a rain puddle? Its oily tendrils slunk across the sidewalk, old, gurgling and spurting from its belly. It was hungry, she knew. At least her name's Minako and not Tasha Yar. That means she's got a bit of a better chance. Have you killed my father? Hesitatingly, she arched her foot over the void. Papa? She repeated, her voice creeping through her lips as a whisper. If there was something beyond digestion, did that mean... Was he alone? Hurt? No, if he's being digested, he's probably just dead. Unless this is like a sarlacc we're talking here. Then that would last a while. Yeah, probably hurt. Dryly she swallowed. Fairy tales were imaginary, fluffy, warm. The prince carried his love off into the sunset at the end, didn't he? Everyone met their happy ending. And you, Papa, she murmured. Was he happy? Could she be happy? At that she stilled, her foot poised at the edge. Would falling through feel as effortless as diving into the sea? The sea would always get her with open, soothing arms. In the water, nothing else mattered. Even as her lungs cried out for oxygen, it simply served as a lull in the background to glorious silence. Or would gliding through the darkness end her falling prey to the choppy waters? Would it threaten to swell and crash about her, sending her tumbling this way and that? I'm realizing I'm moving my mouse around drastically. I'm going to try to stop it. I'm probably bugging the crap out of it. Okay, you can use the scroll wheel. Awesome. Where was that? I am noticing that back in the day, I've read a lot, and I'm noticing that my reading, not comprehension, but reading intake is less than what it was way back when. Slowly, Minako inhaled the crisp, sweet air. Would this be the last time she felt her rib cage expand as her lungs beat against them, greedily suckling on the air they had received? No one knew where the void led, if anywhere. It wasn't as if the people who plunged through them were able to speak about their experience. They were there one day, gone the next, completely and utterly gone, vanished. Forever. For you, are we deciding whether we're going in or not? You know, this is towards the beginning. And I mean, I'm not a parent, but I would imagine any good parent would be like, you know, I'm glad that you care. You know, I'm glad that you want to see me safe and taken care of and everything. But, you know, don't jump into a monster that's been known to never spit anybody back out. For my sake, you know, I would think that most parents would be like, you know what, just go the other way, you know, I'm cool. Keep living, kid, you know, that sort of thing. So, I would say, no. What was I thinking? She stumbled, really settling. Fool, she muttered. Smile, dear. Eyes ahead, stomach in, feet together, he whispered. Picking up her discarded book bag, her fingers clutched the handle. Her fingers digging into the hard material. She knew her responsibilities, didn't she? Unwillingly, she tilted her head down. As for entering the void, She had been a fool, an absolute fool. Overhead a crow cackled. Its laughter echoing with her footsteps. Papa? Closing the door behind her, Minako strained to hear her response. Silence greeted her. I'm home, she added, weakly, alone again. It had been nearly a month since her father had vanished. It was an entirely new experience for him to go days without seeing home. Even at home he would be tucked away in his office, forgetting to eat or sleep. She had stopped trying to get him to do either. It was pointless to remind him of his needs. His response remained the same. My work is my nourishment, Minako. That logic doesn't really make any sense. Yeah. Still, it had never been going long enough for the weeds to grow around the windows. Placing a marker between her teeth, she gave the cap an expert pull. Violently red X's covered the calendar. Another day. Yeah, let's keep track of that. In the office, his laptop rested. Oh, okay. I thought it was referring, should you log the day or something? But her fingers drew enough dust uncovering the keys. Where are you, Papa? Her murmur came as a scream. Soft, tender, the chair found her, elbows poised against the desk. Feet touching the ground, light flooded the room. I don't want to be alone, not today, nor tomorrow. His eyes were blues, hers red. His nose wouldn't load. ASL. She was blue, he was green. She paused, be pink? You think I can be, what? Okay, this part didn't make any sense. Was she on the computer or something? Against the screen, she slept. Her hand curled tight around the mouse. Here, she was safe. Minako? Papa. Come, my child, come. Papa, where are you? She cried. Darkness, terrible darkness hung about her shoulders, pinning to her lungs. She stumbled through thorns, grasping the light. Are you there? Are you? I won't forgive you, the light grew dim, fingers smothering it. Papa, she tumbled, the light burning, her fingers trembling. Papa, in turn, silence replied. Okay, outside the door, nothing. Everything remained the same. They protested, they prayed, they wept. They went missing not by the day, the hour, nor by the minute, but by the second they went. Okay. I have to say, I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused about what's going on. In the corner lay his favorite chair with an open book upon its arm. There she sat. I think that last part was just talking about in general. It was sounding like it was happening then, but yeah, it was. I guess that was talking about people disappearing over the month or so. That whatever's been happening has been happening. There she sat. And this maiden she lived with no other thought, Minako whispered, her finger tracing the words. Then to love and be loved by me. She shifted, her back resting against the arm, her legs draped over the other. The book sprawled between her legs, her hand poised between the pages. I was a child, her stomach grumbled, lips aching. And she was a child. Okay. The void was a sickness, a hunger, a terrible, terrible hunger. If she stood on the tips of her toes, she could see out the window. Weeds still grew. They were wrapping about the pipes, drenching themselves lewdly against the paneling. The house groaned, where the weeds spread roots, curling around the foundation, slowly cracking and tearing it apart. Pressing her nose to the glass, she stared ahead, the weeds inching across the glass. They too were hungry. Well, it sounds like the plants are attacking. Thank good. Dropping to her feet, Minako slumped into the chair, her hands resting in her lap. She would have to knock them down. Someday she would have to do a lot of things. Someday soon. Her fingers curled around her stomach. Her growling stomach, empty. Well, we gotta do crap. So, is leave equaling doing crap? Yes, outside the door she went. Steadily she grasped the bike, her feet pressing against the pedals. She flew. Does she have a little alien in the front of it? Leaning her back against the brick building, Minako would slip inside the door. Ding ding. Not ping ping, apparently. Just ding ding. Someone's here, unfortunately. Snorting, the man wandered back behind the counter. He was a thin, wretched-looking man. Tobacco wafted off of him, his yellow teeth flashing into a grimace. Thought everyone would have been gone by now. Why not you, girlie? Ignoring his question, Minako slipped a red shopping basket onto her arm. Without needing a list, she would begin to pile food into it. A flash of yellow, a bottle of white, aimless bags of brown that moaned as she threw it into the basket. It didn't matter. Planning on running, eh? Do you? Sliding a basket on the checkout counter, Minako reluctantly met the man's gaze. No. We have a brave one. Leaning across the counter, he would rub his thumb against the wispy layer of hair that covered his chin. I tell you, girlie, just last week there was one like you. Said she wouldn't go no matter what. Know where he was found? Okay. Do you? Steadily, she uncrumpled green, slanging it onto the counter. Where? Wouldn't you like to know? Take these groceries, take 'em, shoving the assortment of items toward her. He chortled with amusement. Let me tell you one thing. Patting his hand, he grinned. She recoiled. If I see you back around these parts, I'll slit you from neck to belly. A pretty gal like you shouldn't be here. No, sir, no, sir. He was mad. He had to be. Blankly, she would stare at him before shaking her head. Collecting the groceries, she would shove them into a plastic bag, all the while as he stood watching, his lips fixed into a smile. See a pretty lady. Okay. So apparently, it sounds like the world is ending, but people are actually not going out and looting everything. Wow. I would think, hey, you know what? I mean, I wouldn't do it personally. But people would, if there were people just randomly disappearing all over the place and there were puddles of stuff that that ate you and that sort of thing. Yeah, there'd be some looting. There'd be lots of looting. I'm just very sure of that. Oops, and I do apologize for that. Maybe the madman had a point. Placing her bag in the basket that rested on the bicycle handle, she slowly fell into place. Suppose, for an instant, he was right. Keeping one foot on the ground, she nipped at her lip. Unwillingly, the weeds grew, twisting about her ankles. Papa, are you here? Or there? Wait, where's here? I guess at home. Is that going to the thing or something? Let's go here. Fairy tale wrapped around her wrist, pulling her close. You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of sound, a dimension of sight. I was going to make that joke. It beat me to it. A dimension of mind. We're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone. I used to enjoy watching the Twilight Zone back when I first had the Sci-Fi Channel. It used to come on there a lot. Razor to her skin. Well, what? Change. 27 people have gone missing. Change. Scientists marvel at change. Oh, she's changing the channel. Okay. Why have you ever heard of such a thing? Change. The screen flickered, drawing to a close. Do you believe? The mouse paused. In anything, everything. I don't know. She left. Beside her, the sheets were empty, cold. I want you, she murmured. For company she sought. The pings didn't come. Her fingers lying still against the keyboard. Fool. How the weeds grew. Inside was warm. Inside was safe. Inside was where she belonged. Still, she found herself with empty hands and covered feet at Miss Maru's door. I don't know what still is up here, but we're going to click on this. Miss Maru, her hands were thorns, cheeks made of sand. Heart of glass, she hated her. Still, she was at her door, finger pressed against the doorbell. The chiming of bells broke the silence, darkness radiating from the windows. I should. Minako paused. And right here, I think, is where I'm going to go in the video. Interesting. I will say that I am a little confused by it. But then again, it's just the way it's written, I would say. A lot of people would probably really enjoy this type of writing. And I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying I'm not exactly used to it. You know, how would I even describe it? This is a little bit more like how could I describe it? You know, it's like it's kind of broken up into like, you know, very important bits, but it's very. I'm like recording this in the middle of the night. This is not the best time for me to be articulate. Articulate my thoughts very well. Yeah. Suppose what I normally, you know, what I guess I'm more used to is just like Phil walked in the door. You know, the room was dark. He saw a shadow there. You know, all in one paragraph. I guess all in one paragraph is what I'm saying. You know, and it kind of leads and you know, from one thing to the other. These are kind of like, you know, like little bits of. I'm going to say thought. I don't think that's really the right way to say it, but yeah, it's definitely more broken up and stuff, but it's definitely an interesting style. We'll say that, and I am actually intrigued about the whole what's going on with these. Yeah, the whatever it is, monster or dimension holes or whatever they are. I'm actually pretty, you know, intrigued about what's going on with that, and just the different endings you can get. I'm pretty sure that there will be multiple endings, you know, that you can get. I'm not sure how many different endings, but yeah, I'll probably play this some more. But yeah, just a little bit. The way it's written is one little problem I've got with it. But yeah, as far as my ability to follow it, I should say. But yeah, very cool job, very good job there, Pinky. If you did enjoy it, the video, and if this looks like your type of game, I think it's only about $3 or $4, I believe. And the link will be down in the description below. So I will see you guys in the next random game. Farewell.